Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you saw by the thumbnail and the title, is the Fenty Beauty Foundation and Primer review. This is the second time I'm filming this. I've already filmed this yesterday, but if you follow me on Snapchat, you know that something happened with the files. It got corrupted. It had the big scary black broken file thing on my video editor, so I'm here filming it again today. But happily, because this is what I love to do. In this video, I'm going to do a demo where I apply it on the skin. That way you could see the coverage in the video. You could see how it covers the skin, and then I go over the details of what I think about it, if it's worth your money, if you should go purchase it. I just want to tell you, is there something on my lips? I just want to tell you before we get started, I did not purchase the whole collection. All I did was pick up the primer and the foundation. I also did pick up a matchstick, but I'm not crazy about it. I love the color of the matchstick, but I wore it yesterday and I wasn't blown away. I'm gonna keep trying it, but I don't feel like I tried it enough to give you a full review. But based off of first impressions, I didn't fully love it. It swatches beautifully. I picked up the color Trippin'. For me, it moves my foundation when I was trying to apply. I didn't pick up a lot of other things you've seen a lot of other beauty bloggers do, because what stood out to me was the foundation, because now they offer, not now, they're new, but they offer so many different shades. So I wanted to do a full review on this foundation because they do have a large variety, and now so many of you could purchase this foundation, and I wanted to give you a review on how it's going to work for my skin texture in case you have something similar. I have mature skin, and I also have combination to balance skin, so I get a little bit oily here in the T-zone, but I do have some fine lines. So I've seen tons of reviews on YouTube, like I'm sure you have also, but I didn't see any regarding mature skin. If you want to check out some of my other reviews, I'll link them down below. I love reviewing foundation, but I usually go for a dewy finish, something more luminous. This is definitely out of my comfort zone, and I wanted to know if it was going to settle into my lines, because matte foundation could do that sometimes. So that's why I got these two. By the way, the foundation is $34, which is kind of normal for a foundation in Sephora, and the primer is $32. I just pulled it up on my phone just to double check. So if you want to know more about the foundation, how it wears throughout the day, how it applies, how the coverage is, and if it's worth your money, then please keep watching. Okay guys, so I've done my eye makeup as I usually do for my foundation reviews. I like to do eye makeup first, especially a super dramatic one. That way it doesn't ruin my foundation application, and that way the focus of the video is on the foundation. So I've already reviewed this, like I explained in the intro. So I'm gonna start with the primer, the Fenty Beauty Primer, and this is called Pro Filter, and they even spelt it all fashionably. And on the side of the box it says smooth pore diffusing finish, extended makeup wear. I agree with those terms. My pores look a lot smoother. I already put some on. I have huge pores right here in the center and on the chin. Not so much on the forehead, I just have lines on the forehead. But I like how the texture feels really smooth, like your skin looks better before you start applying your foundation, which is a key point for primers. If your skin doesn't look a touch more softer or more luminous, depending on the type of primer, before your foundation, then that's not a good sign. If it already looks a lot better with just the primer, that's a good sign. So I wanted to purchase these two together because I feel like they were made for each other, especially with the way that they were promoted, how they sent out the press kits. Like, it just seems like the primer goes with the foundation. So I didn't want to mix it up and use my regular primers. I wanted to make sure that I went with the Fenty Beauty Primer. And it's called Pro Filter, so it's supposed to make your skin look like it was a little bit filtered. And I feel like it does that. It doesn't have a strong scent at all. It smells fresh and regular, and it's lightweight, so it's not so goopy on the skin. There are primers that are super goopy on the skin and just like makes your pores feel heavier. Some people can't even wear primers, and I feel like this is one that's lightweight enough that you might really enjoy it, especially if you have big pores and oily skin. My skin is combination to balanced. I find it to be a little more oily in the T-zone, and then everywhere else pretty regular. So it could be a little dry at times, but I moisturize really well. I make sure my skin is very, very balanced. So I did focus more of the primer right here in the T-zone and then spread it out from there. Now for the foundation, I got the shade 240. When I was in the store, all of the deeper skin tones were completely sold out, and that's an amazing thing because that's something Rihanna really wanted to convey while she was convey, is that the right way to say it? That's something Rihanna was trying her best to make clear, that she did create a foundation and a makeup line that every person will feel like they're included and they can purchase from the line as well, that no skin tone is left out, and all the deeper shades sold out. When I got there, 240 was actually the last shade. Ooh, I dropped the box. When I got there, 240 was the deepest shade left. So what does that tell you? I'm glad it was still there because I matched myself perfectly. I've already tried this, like I told you, and it matched my skin perfectly, but I'm really good at foundation matching. I usually go with my neck or right here on my wrist, but there's professionals in Sephora that will help you match your skin tone. I saw them doing it. There were so many people there picking up this product, and I saw so many girls getting matched. And if the color wasn't available, I heard them saying you can order it. So I think that the store can order it for you, or they're still available online. I'm gonna check and leave it down below and keep you updated. So check in the comments and the description bar. So anyway, I'll go in and show you the application and tell you my thoughts on it. The back of the bottle even says shake well. I do find that this foundation is very liquidy. It's definitely a liquid foundation. I know that there were some rumors that it oxidizes. I don't think it oxidizes. It looked like my skin tone and it didn't change colors. I think what you're looking at is that it's wet and then it dries because it's a liquid foundation and it dries down matte. I don't find it satin whatsoever. I think as you wear it, your oils peek through and that's what will make it look more natural. But at first it is very, very matte. I want to look at the box and make sure I'm not missing anything. It's a medium to full coverage for all, long wear, and light as air. So I've already worn this for a full day. I just want to show you. I'm gonna put it onto my palette here. This palette is from Beauty Blender. I'll link it down below for you. It just makes it a lot easier for me to apply my makeup. So I just squirted 4 pumps because that's what I did yesterday and that's what covered my skin, and I did find it to be medium to full, so you're about to see that. I'm using one of my favorite foundation brushes. This one's from Tarte. I didn't pick up the foundation brush from Fenty because although I'm a beauty blogger and I know so many bloggers buy everything and do the most with their videos, I'm just not one of those people. I wish I could buy every single piece, but that's just not possible all the time. And I like to start towards the neck. So you could see that it's wet right now, so it looks like it's a different color, but it's a liquid foundation, so it's going to dry down to the perfect shade. I was actually so shocked that I matched myself so well and that there was inside of the Sephora lighting, because sometimes I really mess it up, but this one I matched really well. So it's already starting to dry down and you could see that it comes to its true color. And I do believe it's more on the medium side. I've definitely seen more full coverage foundations, but this one also looks like skin. So that's a really good thing. It's a matte foundation. It looks just like skin, which is kind of like Rihanna's signature skin. She always looks flawless, but she's clearly wearing makeup. So I think she's probably been wearing this foundation for the past 2 years, low key. She said that she's been working on it for 2 years. So I bet they've been using it for a while. So you saw I had some blemishes right here and it really covered them. What I would say is if you have more acne prone skin, you might not like it, or if you have dry patches and dry skin, I do see that it clings to the blemishes a little bit more. But you could also try it with a more moisturizing primer rather than the matte primer that it comes with. I think the coverage is beautiful because I'm not really a full coverage person, although you might see me wearing a lot of makeup. I usually wear sheer to medium foundations and go over it with concealer. This one, I didn't really need to do that too much. I think it dries down beautifully. What I was most concerned about is if it's gonna settle into my lines, because upon application, I see that it's already creasing. But once you smooth it out a lot, it looks a lot better. So I have blemishes up here and you'll see how true the coverage is when I go over that part. It covers it really great. So you get great coverage and it still looks really natural. So I did have to use those full 4 pumps to cover my entire face. With a liquidy foundation like this, that's kind of normal, especially depending on the type of skin that you have. If you really want to cover your full face, if you wanted a little bit more full coverage, you could probably pump 2 more times and layer it. I do find it to be buildable. I don't really like building foundation. I'd rather spot conceal, and that's how I get more of a skin-like appearance. So now it's dried down. It dries pretty quickly, so blend blend quickly, but it did dry down and I feel like it looks gorgeous. When I wore it yesterday all day, it actually looked better with time, because at first I feel like when it dries down it emphasizes any texture or blemishes that you have, because I was scared about these dots up here and I was like, wow, it's really emphasizing the only 2 pimples I've had in such a long time. And you want to feel confident with your foundation, and I say that in every review. That's the whole point. You want to feel confident with it. I mean, there's no point unless you feel great while you're wearing it. This one, if you give it a little bit of time and give it a second, it does look a lot better. I feel like at first you can kind of be scared, like, wow, that's really, really matte. But after a little bit, I think it looks beautiful. So if you're into having a more matte foundation, you're probably going to love this. And if you have oily skin, you're probably going to love this, because right in the T-zone, it doesn't move whatsoever. So I've noticed that wearing it all day, it doesn't dissipate or break apart in an ugly way. It only came up when I was touching my face and blowing my nose. Of course it came off, but it still didn't break apart where it looked ugly. Another wonderful thing is they have so many shade choices, a lot of in-between colors, and they keep saying that they started with 40. I think she mentioned, sorry, I'm fidgety. I think she mentioned that she's even going to extend the shade range. So that's amazing that she even started with 40 shades. I'm gonna go in and do my concealer. I didn't pick up the concealers there because when they swatched, it wasn't appealing to me. I don't really like highlight sticks or concealer sticks. I really like a liquid concealer, so I'm using my own, but it still blends into the foundation really well. So if you wanted to purchase it and just incorporate it into your regular makeup routine and just change your foundation and primer, it will still work with what you already have, because I did this yesterday. I put a little over my dots. My concealer blended into the foundation perfectly, so no worries there, which is really great too, because it's something a lot of people don't think of, but it happens. Sometimes you buy a new foundation and it doesn't mix with the rest of your routine. So I was really happy to see that my favorite concealer, the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, it mixed perfectly with that. There's no break, it didn't move the foundation, they work well together. So I'm gonna go in and finish the rest of my face and then tell you my final thoughts. Like I explained in the intro, I have already filmed this, so I meant to do a full wear test, but I'm just going to give you the details because I did wear it a full day and I just applied it again now just to see how it's going to work with other products and things of that nature. All in all, I really, really do love it. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think that I would love it because I'm not a matte foundation type of person, and that's the only reason why I thought I wouldn't love it. Also, when I first applied it yesterday, I thought it maybe cling to my blemishes a little bit, but it actually doesn't at all. I have the same blemishes and right now they're undetectable, which is amazing. I did cover them with concealer, but my point was I thought the foundation would emphasize them, and that's really what I thought at first and I was scared. But as I'm looking at my face now, I mean, I did a full beat and I think it looks flawless. The skin looks amazing. I usually go for a dewy complexion, but going for matte and being like someone not really into matte foundation, this looks beautiful because I feel like it's not as matte as it could be. It kind of gives you the matte where it still looks like skin, except you look super flawless. That's kind of the Rihanna look. She wears a lot of makeup, especially a lot of eye makeup, but her skin still looks like skin. And I'm sure that they've been using this, her makeup artist and her team have been using this foundation for a while, so maybe that's why she looks so flawless. But I really do love it, and I love it in combination with the primer. Like I mentioned before, most of the time when there's a new foundation, they come out with a primer with it. They go hand in hand, and that's exactly what these were for. I think if you have super dry skin, skip the primer because the foundation will be matte enough for you. But if you have oily skin, definitely go with the primer. This foundation is going to be flawless for oily skin, especially skin with big pores, because I have pretty porous skin and all around my nose. Without a smoothing primer, this minimizes the pores, but it's not labeled as a smoothing primer. It's labeled as a long wearing primer, but my pores still look amazing, and that's probably because of the combination together. So all in all, this foundation is amazing, and I'm not too surprised because the brand is backed by Kendo. Kendo is big in the beauty industry. They have a lot of lines at Sephora. I think it actually, sorry, my nose is so itchy right here. I think it actually is owned by Sephora. I do believe Rihanna had a huge part in creating the makeup. I'm sure she had something to do with it. I'm sure she was in every meeting and had her ideas and everything that she wanted, but it's backed by such a professional and veteran in the makeup development game. So I didn't doubt that it was going to be good. I kind of knew it was going to be amazing. I was just scared that it wouldn't work for me personally. Another big thing for me was if it's going to work for mature skin, and I mentioned that in the intro as well, because I have fine lines, and usually with a matte foundation that kind of sets into your lines, which could be really scary. Not scary, but you want to feel confident in your makeup, and if it's setting into your lines and emphasizing any wrinkles, you're not going to be comfortable. You're not going to feel confident in it. And a lot of my demographic is a little bit older, and I try to look out for you guys as well. And I wanted to recommend this to you because I think even if you have mature skin, this is going to be great. It didn't settle into any lines. My smile lines look really great. Usually by now it would be so creased with a super matte foundation. That's why I usually stick to dewy foundations, because that looks better for mature skin. But this is the first matte foundation I found that's working beautifully for mature skin. I think my skin looks great. I think it wore amazing. Yesterday I wore it for a very long time, from 12 p.m. all the way until 11 p.m. because I had a lot to do yesterday. I got rained on and the foundation looked amazing. Like I said, it only wore off when I was itching my nose because I have allergies, or touching my face over here, but still it didn't break up in an ugly way. Some foundations could wear off even if they claim to be long wearing. Oh, my nose is so itchy, you see? This foundation is claiming to be long wearing, and it is, and it works beautifully. I would even suggest this to brides or freelancers, especially because there's a wide variety of different skin shades, and it might be something you want to invest in for your makeup kit. Of course, as always, go to Sephora, get matched, and get a sample. Don't be afraid to ask for a sample. I'm the type of person, if it doesn't work, I return it, especially if it's a little bit more on the higher end side. And if it doesn't work for you after a day or two, you could bring it back or switch your color or see what works better. But definitely get a sample first. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I love the Fenty Beauty foundation. Now that I've tried the foundation and the primer, I'm definitely gonna pick up a little bit more when it's back in stock, maybe some highlighters. And I hope they come out with more stuff, because I think so far they're getting off to a great start. It's the biggest launch of the year so far. I can't imagine what she's going to come out with next. I hope it's some eyeshadow palettes, because her eye makeup always looks beautiful. Rihanna, if you ever watch my video, I love you, girl. And congratulations on your new beauty adventure. Welcome to the community. You guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe before you leave. Please give this video a thumbs up. Here's my last 2 videos, and I also hope that I see you next time. Bye.